ones you don't want to keep anymore. Delete the ones that were no point. But it's far easier to delete something you've got on disk than to try and recreate something that you forgot to save.
I'm trying to. I mean, I want to see us do the trim one because I want to see if do you have to have the faders start somewhere, or
No, well,
is it kind of starting wherever it's
I was
set?
just having a look at that right now. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, and I've probably forgotten to do something. But no, officially, what's meant to happen is wherever the fader happens to be, it's meant to be plus 10 and minus 10. So like here would be plus 10 to here and minus 10 to here. But the same with this one. This would be plus 10 to there, but minus 10 on that range.
So
that's
like
what it's meant to
Of a
do.
dB or every time.
Yeah, but that's what it's meant to do. But I'm not quite sure if it's doing that quite the way it is right at the moment.
But that would mean that you would probably want to, when you, let's say you've written a sort of rough mix in absolute, then you would probably set those faders you want to trim. You would set to 0 on your
somewhere in the midpoint would be a sensible thing to do.
And then if you wanted to go
you
back,
can move them once it's written in absolute.
Once it's written absolute, yes. Because I mean, the computer's going to be playing the level back at that point that you recorded.
So if you don't touch the faders at all, you're not changing anything.
I mean, absolutely.
Oh, wait. So let's say we're done with this. We got this now.
Yeah, I mean,
We got one-
as a for instance, okay, let's just cancel out this for a second. Okay, now, if we press play, can we hear what we're doing or not?
Was no.
You gotta slave it.
Oh, okay. Because you don't have it in, the wrong.
Pro Tools
Okay.
Chase.
So, do you want to put Pro Tools on?
I mean, that's why.
Press the magic clock.
It's already synced. Let me see.
It's. I'm seeing the sync
We're
follow.
synced.
Yeah, you just gotta
It's
get
just
it.
not moving. I don't know why.
So you have to press the little clock.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
So now, if we got it, yes. All right. So my point being that, all right. So we've got all our faders up here right at the moment. If we were to, I'm not going to go. Oh yes, we can do this. All right. So that's basically, we haven't moved these faders much since when we did that. But if we do go to mix execute. And if I was to take these faders out of, if I take it to that no mode at all, pull all the faders down, and it's going to start from the beginning again.
It's weird because it started actually 2 bars prior to the kick in.
Which is the song starts a little bit there. So even though I've got all the faders down, because that's what the computer's playing back for.
Is that because
now
you wrote a bit of it?
I wrote a bit of it. Yeah, I wrote that there.
So after you write a pass, you could literally come up and swipe all the faders down.
Just like I did.
Now you would put them kind of in the middle so that it's ready to move.
Yeah. See, this is why we
that was the
that's why
master
the
fader
thing-
move or something.
I was in the groups.
Beautiful.
And you can, I mean, obviously what I've done here is I've used VCA. When I press VCAs, all that does is it just makes the fader position or what the VCAs are doing come up on the meters. So even though my faders are down here, if I get out of the mix now they'll disappear because now it returns
Did you
to...
say cancel?
Yes.
Okay.
The meters are reading what the VCAs are doing, and right now the VCAs are under control from the faders. But while we're in the mix, the VCAs are under control of the computer, so those meters will show what the computer's doing. It's quite a handy little thing to have. It really depends on what you're doing with with your metering, whether you want to see the signal bouncing up and down. I generally feel that by the time you're mixing, you should really, channel meters shouldn't be your concern. If you have problems with your channel metering.
So then you're kind of into VCAs.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically
that makes sense. I mean,
you can push a VCA fader up so loud that it's going to distort in the channel, but that's not going to be reflected on
Now
the
we
meter.
see the usage of actually having the meters working once you're in
Once you're in
mixing, because then we're actually seeing the cycle. Do you want that?
All right. So let's just walk through the beginning of a mix here, and let's just start from scratch and just
Okay.
do it. Just do how we would do it.
Well, I mean, generally the way you would do it is, first of all, just get to the point where you actually want to set your faders up in a rough position where you're going to have
So
it.
now, hold on.
Is this writing right now?
Wait,
No,
no,
right
see,
at the moment,
now-
we're just
now-
going to get a base level of where you want your
Okay.
faders to be.
Oh, so we're just listening to the.
We're just
input.
literally
We're
listening
setting
to
a
it as a
balance.
regular analog console. You're setting up a rough balance, a place to start from.
Alright, wait a second. Hold on one second. Just give me 1 second.
Sure. Stretch my legs for a second. So right at the moment we're not using the SSL automation at all. We're just purely just rolling Pro Tools so that we can actually
Get your mix together.
get our mix together, get your faders roughly where you want them to be.
So you
Yeah.
could take this out of slave
Pre-automation.
mode and you could just be spacebar play.
Yeah, you could be, absolutely.
So just take it offline.
You can do, it's entirely up to you, but at the same time you can still use it from here. I mean, it's,
So the mix is alright. Just give me 2 minutes here,
sure,
just to
absolutely.
wrap my mind around this. So have we started?
No,
What mode are we in over here?
we're not
Nothing
doing
right now.
anything with the
Okay,
computer
all right.
live. You're just getting a
How do
rough
you
mix.
take it offline from here as opposed to just disabling Pro Tools?
Well, you don't need to worry about the SSL side of it at all. The SSL just works. The Pro Tools, you would just literally just take the plot.
No, but I mean, if I don't want it writing.
If you're not in a setup mix and you're not in an update mix, it's not writing.
Okay.
You know, it's like right at the moment, if you don't have the mix screen up and it says that it's doing it, it's not updating or
So
writing.
when it says mix enabled.
That just means it's ready to go.
Alright. So we've got. Alright, so I've got like a little rough mix, and now I'm no longer using
No.
the keyboard here.
No.
So we can kick
Move
that
them out of the way.
out of the way so I stop grabbing it like an
Hallelujah.
idiot.
Yeah.
Alright. Let me get all this kind of in the middle here. Alright, so basically we have drums, bass, and some guitars here.
Okay.
And kick this out of here.
Remote control for this.
It's right in the middle of this.
Make sure. The other thing you need to do is you need to make sure that your location is correct. Because at the moment, we're sitting at 2 minutes 36 seconds into the song.
Okay.
So you want to get back to the mix. So at the moment, where does the mix start?
That's what it says. It starts.
Go to 0. If I just say go to 0 for a second, that'll just take it back to the top. And we're there. But see, one of the nice things that you could do to save you having to roll back all this like this
I think it's like bar.
is that when we actually get there.
It's 2 bars prior.
Alright, so if we start right about here. Now,
You just stop that.
I'm
there.
supposed to
Very
stop
good.
there. So now, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping for a second. Let's just get rid of those 2 things in there right now. So,
What are you doing? Just kind of narrate what you're doing.
oh, I'm just deleting those mixes
So
that we had
how
in
are you
there.
doing that again?
List mix.
So I went list mix to look at it, look at the mixes, delete mix 1, execute, and name cues. And what I quite often do is I'll go through and I'll put a cue point at the beginning of each verse, the beginning of each chorus, and so on. So now, and I will normally
How do you
just
do the cue points?
name cue execute, same as everything else.
So
It's like,
you just get to that spot. in
yeah,
the
it gets to
song?
the point where you want to be. So coming up to here, what you just do is name cue, and then when the rest executes, is when it will actually happen. So, cool.
And we want to name it
Okay.
stop.
It doesn't matter, I mean, I just
No, I want to name it stop.
Okay, but I mean, the point is that what you can do is while you're going through, let me just show you this first. So I just did name cue, and then the moment I hit execute was the point where the cue happened.
Right.
So now I want to do another one, I can just press repeat. And the moment I hit
You're already
repeat,
in that mode.
yeah, there's another one. And so I've now got 2 cues. We can come back and rename the cues just the same way as we can rename the mixes and rename the titles. say mid-break here and here, okay? And you can go through and do that. But so now the thing is that we're still in our mix, we're making cues, we're still in our mix. But now if I wanted to go back to one of those, I can say, go to Q2, execute. And then press play, and we're going to be back where we were there on the cue.
Go to
Q2, execute. And then once I've done that, press play.
It's gonna be alright, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. You'll be fine.
This is good to hug.
It's-
A hug thing. I'm a hugger, so
I'm huggable. Okay, so the nice thing is that obviously with the go-tos, it makes it very quick and easy. You're trying to work on a little portion. If you've actually got a cue point you can go backwards and forwards to, you don't have to rewind, you don't have to guess where you are, you don't have to, futz with a mouse or anything. You say go-to. But the other thing, another nice one that they have is called the minus and the plus. James?
sorry. Let me just get a water. I
You
was
got
doing some-
overly excited.
We'll take a break in a minute.
Bruce is just getting started here.
I'm not going to go too far because there comes a
Yeah.
point where you've got to practice. Yeah, I love one, thanks.
Yeah, we have to.
Either get into this and practice and get this down, and then,
Yeah.
I know you just get overload.
Right.
I've done this so many times, I see people, their eyes just start glazing over.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a weird
You hear what
English.
he's saying, James? That at a certain point, like he's only going to give us enough to where we then have to
You
practice.
need the basics and you need to practice and get that going.
I'm sorry. I should wait a second. Why isn't this one on? Did we turn it off? Or?
We might have turned it off accidentally.
I was
or
moving these in that move.
maybe you pressed the button by
I
mistake.
didn't press it just now.
You didn't?
Okay.
Maybe it's a loose LED there.
Yeah, it was loose because I just barely touched it. And it came back on, so I think that's that.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't turn that on.
And the
You just
solo
touched it?
solo one's the same way.
Yeah.
Which one?
This-
Solo, the solo.
Oh, okay.
And this one's in a little bit. This one's funky. A little bit.
Well, maybe need a. Maybe the LED's bad on that one. We can go do a computer test on that and check that one.
So is
this one here, the LED's just been pushed out a bit. If you actually no, that's just a
This one too.
really dull LED.
This looks dull.
Yeah, but that should, in theory, just be an LED. And it's either an LED in the fader, or it's a ribbon wire broken in the ribbon, or there's one particular chip in the computer for each one. So
Okay.
whichever way, it's not a huge thing. It's it's another chapter in James buying an SSL. But there you go. Okay, so we've noticed that we can do go-to mix to get back to the beginning of the mix. We can set up cue points, and we can do go to cues. One of the other ones I like is minus execute or plus execute. In the setup of the whole thing, you can set up a default time, but let's say you're working over a short period and you want like 5 seconds. You can just say minus.
What is this for now?
5, execute. So I'll be playing away. So I'll just try that again. Now from then on, once I put it in as 5 seconds, I can just press minus execute. And then wherever I am, it'll just back it up 5 seconds.
How did you? That's just minus.
Wherever I
How
am.
did you initiate that again? Minus.
Didn't need a video. All I did was I said minus. I do 10 seconds, 7 seconds. Let's say 7 seconds.
Instead of fast forward.
Wait.
Yeah, instead of fast forwarding,
So you
rewinding.
hit.
Minus, and then colon 05.
You gotta say everything.
That's right.
Wait, so you minus? You have to use
Colon, yeah. They use a colon as a separator between hours, minutes, and seconds.
Oh,
And then use a
okay.
dot
Right.
for separate the frames. So by doing colon 05, I'm saying it goes to the lowest one.
Oh, so you
Right.
hit 0.5.
Yeah, if I did
Minus colon.
if I did dot 05, it would have been 5 frames.
So minus.
Colon and then whatever you want.
12
10.
seconds.
Yeah,
Execute.
Yeah.
And now every time I hit minus execute,
It'll do 12 seconds. Minus execute, it'll go back another 12 seconds.